Watching news at Prime. Let's bring you this now. The National Union of Mineworkers has started its national conference in Boksburg. The three-day gathering of over 700 delegates started with frank reflections on the state of the union and some strong words from the ANC following its poor showing in the 2024 elections. Newzroom Afrika's Ziniko Mhlaba tracking that story for us, and he joins us live from the venue of that particular conference. Ziniko, good evening to you. It's a time for reflection whenever the unions such as NUM get to this stage of electing a new leadership. What has the leadership said are some of the key problems or key challenges facing it at this time?
Good evening, Oli. Well, indeed, the conference has been reflecting. Actually, it is way behind its program, especially, when it comes to the items which were meant to be dealt with on day one, which is today. So we started, it was meant to start at 10 o'clock, but we only got to the crux of the issues just before lunchtime, and that was around 12 o'clock. And of course, another key item which was meant, or which is still yet to be, I ticked from the list of the boxes, is the messages of support from other supporters of NUM, and I'm talking about the South African Communist Party and Ziniko, and of course Mhlaba had to ask and to be squeezed in before that program is dealt with when it comes to the messages of support. But what has been the key issue here, Oli, is that opening remarks by the president of NUM, who really reflected on how and was very honest in terms of how the NUM has really been facing difficult challenges since 2012. And of course, he started by reflecting on the impact of that Marikana tragedy, but also what came out of that reflection when it comes to the Marikana issue was the fact that as NUM, they do not agree with some of the findings, which were made by that commission of inquiry, which was chaired by Judge Folom, saying that, well, the country is talking about 16 workers. They believe that over 20 of their own members and leaders were killed, and brutally so, by some of the members, by some of their competitors in that mining space during that period. So that was one thing. They're saying that they are going to challenge that and really, take issue with how things were left unfinished there. And that's one of the things he touched on, but very brutally attacking not maybe I'm using a dramatic language there, but really, condemning the ANC for going into bed, according to his words, with some of their class enemies when it comes to political members, political parties that are part and parcel of the government of national unity, specifically only the Freedom Front Plus, but also the Democratic Alliance, saying that, well, as NUM, they are never in alliance with any GNU member. Actually, GNU is not their alliance. They are dealing with the ANC for taking that decision, saying that they cannot be then asked to support a GNU that has those two parties. So those are some of the issues the president of NUM reflected on. So let's take a listen to his comments, specifically on the issue of GNU and the decision that was taken by the ANC in that regard.
It's not our intention to do away with the alliance, with the African National Congress. That is not our intention. And it will never be our intention. However, we must be realistic to the situation that we are confronted with. The ANC of today is not the ANC of 1994. It's not. Now, that being said, we need to critique our own ANC. That is why Makabani, after losing election, because he losing Makabani, my comrade party is a strategic retreat.
So the ANC of today is not the ANC of 1994. The Secretary General of the ANC, Mhlaba, was sitting in that conference room. What did he have to say?
So the Secretary General of the ANC, who was deployed to represent the ANC in this particular conference, did really reflect and acknowledge that, well, going into GNU was not the ideal solution the ANC had, but also the situation really led them to finding themselves in a position where they had to deal with all the political parties who availed themselves to be part and parcel of the government of national unity. So here's Mr. Fikile Mbalula responding to that comment by the NUM president.
We believe that any talk of standalone will not strengthen, will weaken. The alliance will weaken the ANC. And that is why we are in discussions about that matter. But we are engaging with the SACP as the architect of this particular resolution to stand alone.
Ziniko Mhlaba, thank you very much. Watching the National Union of Mineworkers, which is electing its new leadership this week. Thank you. And I'm sure we're going to have these conversations all the way up until a new leadership emerges. The NUM, once a powerful affiliate of the Trade Union Federation, COSATU.